Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unpack complex topics to give you the clearest, most insightful understanding. Today, we're diving headfirst into the fascinating and I think often underestimated world of vitamins and minerals. These aren't just obscure footnotes in a nutrition textbook, they are tiny powerhouses that, well, they dictate our daily energy, our mental sharpness, and ultimately our long term health. But, with so much information out there, it can feel like navigating a nutritional maze. Our mission today is to cut through that noise, reveal some surprising facts, and offer absolute clarity on how these essential nutrients truly impact you. And before we get started, this deep dive is brought to you by Stonefly. Just like a balanced diet is crucial for your body's health, robust data management is vital for the health of your digital life and business. Stonefly is your trusted solution provider and advisor in enterprise storage, backup disaster recovery, hyperconverged VMware, Hyper-V, Proxmox clusters, AI servers, SA365, which is a turnkey security appliance, and public and private cloud solutions. Stonefly understands that every byte of your data is critical. To explore how they can secure and optimize your digital infrastructure, you should check out stonefly.com. Okay, let's unpack this. When we talk about nutrition, our minds often jump straight to the big three. Macronutrients, carbs, proteins, and fats, they're the fuel our bodies burn for energy, essential, no doubt about it. But what about the unsung heroes, the often overlooked architects of our internal machinery? I'm talking about the micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals. What exactly are they, and why are they so, well, profoundly crucial?
What's truly fascinating here is how fundamentally essential they are, and yet how easily they can be taken for granted. Unlike those macronutrients you mentioned, vitamins are organic molecules, so they contain carbon, while minerals are inorganic elements. Think like the iron in a pan or the calcium in a rock. And here's the kicker. Our bodies simply cannot synthesize them, make them in sufficient quantities for survival. Not even close. So you absolutely must obtain them to your diet. It's interesting, the iron and copper found in, say, your everyday cookware. They're the very same minerals found in your food. And yes, your body can even absorb some iron that transfers from a cast iron skillet right into your meal. It's that basic, that foundational.
So what does this all mean then? They're not just nice to haves or something we only worry about if we're feeling really run down, because honestly, it seems like many people treat them as secondary to getting enough protein or watching carbs.
Exactly. They are far, far from optional extras. They are the core components of enzymes and cofactors. Maybe think of them as the tiny cogs, gears, and even the spark plugs that make all our body's complex machinery run smoothly. They facilitate just an astonishing array of chemical reactions that are critical to everything. Everything from the most basic life-sustaining processes to our most complex cognitive functions. For instance, they are indispensable for maintaining our heartbeat, right? Ensuring blood flows smoothly through, miles of blood vessels, allowing our muscles to flex and move without seizing up, keeping our bones strong and resilient against everyday stresses, and ensuring our digestive system works efficiently to extract every bit of goodness from the food we eat. And, well, beyond those foundational tasks, they are vital for processes like cell division. Just stop and think about that for a second. Your body is constantly replacing old cells with new ones, millions every minute, a process that relies heavily on these micronutrients. They keep our eyes sparkling with proper vision, ensure our skin protects us effectively. It is our largest organ, after all. They allow our kidneys to filter blood and regulate pressure, help our lungs draw in life-giving oxygen, and expel waste gases with incredible precision, enable our nerves to transmit impulses at lightning speed, allowing us to react, feel, and move. And of course, they allow our brain to cogitate, enabling thought, memory, emotion. Without them, the entire intricate orchestra of your body would simply fall silent.
That's incredible. It really puts into perspective the sheer complexity our bodies are handling, like every single second. It sounds like a huge amount of our body's daily work, just the background hum, relies on these seemingly small compounds. What's maybe one surprising way this constant cellular turnover fueled by micronutrients impacts our everyday energy levels.
It truly does, and the collective magnitude of these activities is enormous. It's staggering, really. Consider this. A large fraction of our basal metabolic rate, that's the energy you burn, just lying still, maybe 50 to 70% of the body's total daily energy expenditure, is devoted solely to maintaining these vital functions we just talked about. And yes, it's all dependent on these essential micronutrients, which naturally raises a really important question. If these nutrients are so vital, what happens when we don't get enough? Our cells and tissues are constantly turning over, getting worn out, repaired, or replaced with new ones. Think about it. The lining of your intestinal tract, for instance, turns over completely every 3 days or so, and your red blood cells, they're totally replaced about every 120 days. 4 months. Any fault or faltering in these constant vital processes due to a nutrient shortage? Well, it can have a direct and significant impact on your body's ability to function properly. This can lead to noticeable declines in energy, productivity, mental function. If even one instrument is out of tune in that finely tuned orchestra, the entire performance can be thrown into disarray. It's often not about immediate collapse, right? But more like a gradual, insidious decline that you might just chalk up to getting older or being stressed.
Right, so it's about subtle shifts that accumulate over time, potentially. Okay, let's zoom in on a specific and really widespread health concern directly tied to mineral deficiency. Iron deficiency anemia, or IDA. This isn't just a minor issue affecting a few people. It's a truly significant global public health problem. It affects billions.
Indeed. Billions is right. To underscore the scale, the World Health Organization estimated that back in 2019, approximately 1.62 billion people were affected by anemia globally. That's nearly 1/4 of the world's population. It's huge. And of those cases, iron deficiency is unequivocally the most common cause, by far. Now, to understand why this is such a profound problem, you need to know that iron is a crucial component of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the protein in your red blood cells that is solely responsible for binding oxygen in your lungs and then delivering it throughout your entire body. Every cell needs it. When iron stores are insufficient, your body simply cannot produce enough healthy, fully functional red blood cells. And that critical function of oxygen transport to all your tissues and organs gets severely impaired. This can have really widespread systemic manifestations, affecting everything from your muscles to your brain function.
That's a staggering number, 1.6 billion. So who are the populations most affected by this condition? Are there specific groups that bear a disproportionate burden?
Absolutely. It disproportionately impacts vulnerable groups worldwide, no question. This includes women, particularly those of reproductive age and pregnant women, as their iron needs are significantly higher. Think about menstruation, fetal development. Those demand a lot of iron. Young children are another highly vulnerable group, especially during periods of rapid growth when their bodies are building so much tissue. And, perhaps most acutely, populations residing in low and middle-income countries often face the biggest challenges. Just to give you a sense of the scale, even in the United States, the CDC reports a substantial prevalence of IDA, especially among pregnant women and young children. But the impact is even more stark in regions like India. According to their National Family Health Survey from 2019-2021, an alarming 57.2% of women aged 15-49 years and 53.1% of children aged 6-59 months were anemic, over half. These are truly widespread numbers that underscore the critical public health challenge this condition presents. And they're not just statistics. They represent lives impacted by chronic fatigue, impaired development, reduced productivity.
Wow. So what are the root causes of IDA? Is it simply not eating enough iron-rich foods, or is it, well, a more complex picture than that?
It's definitely far more multifactorial than just diet alone, although insufficient dietary intake of iron is certainly a key contributor, don't get me wrong. But other major factors include things like malabsorption syndromes. That's where the body struggles to absorb iron, even if it's present in the diet conditions like, say, celiac disease or inflammatory bowel disease can be culprits here. Significant blood loss is another common and, frankly, often under-recognized cause. Think heavy menstruation in women, maybe gastrointestinal bleeding from ulcers or parasites, or even frequent blood donations. Additionally, increased iron requirements during specific physiological periods, like pregnancy or rapid childhood growth, can lead to deficiency if intake doesn't keep pace. The body's demand simply outstrips the supply. Now, in places like India, several compounding factors make the problem even worse. There's often a low bioavailability of iron in their predominantly plant-based diets. It's a bit technical, but think of it this way. The iron in meat, called heme iron, is like an unlocked door for your body, pretty easy to absorb. But the iron in plants, non-heme iron, is more like a locked safe. Your body needs help, specifically vitamin C, to sort of open it up and absorb it well. So even if they eat a lot of plant-based iron, absorption can be quite poor without enough vitamin C alongside it. Frequent parasitic infections like hookworm, which can lead to chronic blood loss or malabsorption, and poor maternal nutrition also play significant roles, impacting the iron status of both mother and child, sometimes across generations. And beyond these direct physiological causes, socioeconomic determinants are critical. They really are. Factors like food insecurity, inadequate sanitation leading to infections, and limited access to health care contribute significantly to the high prevalence rates, especially in rural populations and lower socioeconomic groups. It's a complex web, really, of interconnected issues that require a holistic approach.
Okay, so it's definitely complex. If someone suspects they might have IDA, What are the common symptoms they should look out for? Because, like you said, many of these could be attributed to other common issues like stress or just not sleeping well.
You're right, the symptoms can indeed be nonspecific, which is why diagnosis often needs a professional eye and some testing. Initial diagnosis typically begins with a thorough clinical evaluation. A healthcare professional will look for common, though sometimes subtle symptoms. These can include profound fatigue and, not just feeling tired, but a real crushing exhaustion that doesn't seem to improve much with rest. A general feeling of weakness and pallor, which is a noticeable paleness of the skin. You might see it especially in the inner lining of the eyelids, the tongue, or the nail beds, places where blood flow is visible. Individuals may also experience dizziness or lightheadedness, shortness of breath, even with mild exertion, like climbing stairs, and persistently cold extremities, particularly hands and feet, because oxygen delivery is impaired. Beyond those, some physical signs can offer further clues, though they're not always present. These might include something called angular cheilitis, so those painful cracks you sometimes get at the corners of your mouth, or koilonychia, which is a curious condition where your fingernails become spoon-shaped, sort of concave, and glossitis, an inflammation that can make your tongue look unusually smooth, red, or swollen, sometimes making eating uncomfortable. The diagnostic process also involves taking a really thorough medical history. This means reviewing dietary habits to assess iron intake, menstrual history for women to check for heavy periods, pregnancy status, as iron demands, like we said, increase significantly during gestation. Any history of chronic blood loss, gastrointestinal disorders that could impair absorption, or parasitic infections is also crucial for identifying the underlying causes of IDEA. It's kind of like putting together pieces of a puzzle.
And what about laboratory tests? What are the primary diagnostic tools that a doctor would use? Because I imagine that's where the definitive answers really come from.
Laboratory investigations are absolutely crucial for a definitive diagnosis, no doubt. A complete blood count, or a CBC, is often the very first step. This test gives doctors a snapshot of your red blood cells, how many there are, their size, their hemoglobin content. It can reveal a low hemoglobin level, which is, the core indicator of anemia. It also often shows that your red blood cells are smaller than normal. It's called microcytic anemia, and that they have less hemoglobin inside them than they should, making them appear kind of pale under a microscope. Beyond the CBC, checking your body's iron stores is paramount. Serum ferritin is generally considered the best marker for assessing these stores. Think of ferritin as your body's iron savings account, right? If that account is significantly low, it's a strong indicator of iron deficiency. However, and this is important, ferritin levels can be falsely elevated if you have inflammation, an infection, or chronic disease. This can sometimes complicate the diagnosis. Other critical tests include serum iron, which measures the iron currently circulating in your blood, and total iron binding capacity, or TIBC, which tells us how many seats are available in your iron-carrying proteins. Another key indicator is transferrin saturation. This basically tells us how well your body's iron-carrying taxi service called transferrin is loaded up with iron. If it's less than, say, 16% full, that's a red flag for deficiency. Now, for situations where inflammation might be messing with the ferritin levels, a test called soluble transferrin receptor, or STFR, is particularly useful because its levels aren't affected as much by inflammation. And a more recent test, reticulocyte hemoglobin content, or CHR, assesses the iron supply directly to the bone marrow, giving an early indication of iron deficiency even before full anemia develops. Now, in remote or resource-limited settings where access to advanced labs is scarce, point-of-care diagnostics are increasingly important. They have to be. Simple tools like hemoglobin color scales can provide a visual approximation of hemoglobin levels for rapid screening by frontline health workers. Portable hemoglobinometers, which are handheld devices, also offer a quick way to measure hemoglobin right there. However, challenges in diagnosis definitely remain. This includes the high prevalence of comorbidities like malaria or tuberculosis in some areas, which can cause or worsen anemia and interfere with test results, making it tricky to distinguish IDA from other types of anemia. Also, that inflammatory interference I mentioned can falsely elevate ferritin, and limited access to advanced lab tests like STFR or CHR in rural areas means clinical signs and basic CBC often remain the essential tools for diagnosis in many places.
Okay, so once it's diagnosed, how is IDA treated and prevented? And what should listeners know about, practical steps they can take themselves?
Right, so treatment aims primarily to replenish those depleted iron stores and, crucially, to correct the underlying causes if possible. The first-line treatment is typically oral iron supplements. Ferrous sulfate is the most commonly prescribed form, mainly because it's effective and relatively inexpensive. For adults, doses are usually around 100 to 200 milligrams of elemental iron per day, often split into divided doses to improve absorption and maybe reduce side effects like stomach upset. And for children, it's typically 3 to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight per day. Now, these supplements are generally continued for 3 to 6 months after hemoglobin levels return to normal. That's really important. Just getting hemoglobin up isn't enough. You need to refill the savings account, the ferritin stores, to prevent a quick relapse. They are frequently combined with folic acid, often found together in IFA tablets, or with vitamin C, because as we discussed, vitamin C significantly enhances the absorption of non-heme iron. So yeah, taking your iron supplement with a glass of orange juice or a vitamin C tablet can genuinely make a big difference in how much iron your body actually absorbs. Now, for more severe cases, or when oral iron isn't tolerated, maybe it causes too much nausea or constipation, or it's just not absorbed well, then intravenous iron therapy is used. This is particularly relevant when rapid iron repletion is needed, maybe in severe pregnancy-related IDEA, or in patients with malabsorption issues like Crohn's disease, or those with chronic kidney disease where oral iron often isn't very effective. Examples of form iron formulations include things like iron dextrin, ferric carboxymaltose, and iron sucrose. 4-iron has to be administered under medical supervision due to potential risks, like allergic reactions, but it offers a much faster way to boost iron levels. Dietary modifications are also a crucial long-term strategy, both for treatment and, importantly, for prevention. This empowers individuals to take control. Emphasizing iron-rich foods is key. Animal-based sources like red meat, liver, poultry, fish, and eggs provide highly bioavailable heme iron, which your body absorbs very efficiently. Plant-based sources, while definitely beneficial, contain non-heme iron, which, as we said, is less efficiently absorbed on its own. These include leafy greens like spinach and fenugreek, legumes such as lentils and chickpeas, fortified cereals, nuts, and seeds. And it's really vital to consume vitamin C-rich foods alongside these non-heme iron sources to enhance absorption. Think citrus fruits, bell peppers, tomatoes, broccoli, kiwi. Eat them with your iron-rich meals. Conversely, it's generally advised to avoid inhibitors like tea, coffee, and calcium-rich foods like milk or cheese during iron-rich meals, as these can significantly hinder absorption. So maybe don't take your iron supplement with your morning coffee and milk. Wait an hour or two. Finally, the public health initiatives play a massive role, especially in countries with high prevalence rates like India. Programs such as the National Iron Plus Folic Acid Program, NFPA, and the Weekly Iron Folic Acid Supplementation WIFS program provide supplements to vulnerable groups, like pregnant women, adolescent girls, and children, sometimes directly through schools or community health workers. Food fortification of staples like salt, wheat flour, and rice with iron is also a major population-level strategy to combat deficiency across the general population, subtly boosting intake without requiring individual action or compliance. Looking to the future, tackling IDA effectively really requires a comprehensive, multi-sectoral approach. It's not just one thing. This includes strengthening national nutritional programs through expansion, ensuring universal coverage, and implementing improved adherence strategies. Think like community-based delivery systems or mobile health platforms, sending reminders, making it easier for people to stick with it. Wider implementation and rigorous monitoring of food fortification programs will also be crucial to ensure they actually reach the intended populations and have a measurable impact. Furthermore, it involves improving healthcare infrastructure for early detection and treatment, especially in rural areas. That means expanded screening programs, increased availability of accessible point-of-care diagnostics, and continuous training for frontline health workers to recognize and manage IDA effectively. Policy integration with other public health programs, like those addressing malnutrition and parasitic infections, malaria, hookworm, is also vital, as these conditions often compound anemia. Finally, continued research and development into innovative iron supplements, maybe liposomal iron, with fewer side effects and better absorption. And leveraging technologies like mobile health apps and telemedicine for tracking intake and facilitating remote consultations will play a significant role in optimizing future management and prevention efforts. It's about a sustained, collaborative effort across many fronts.
Wow, that was incredibly thorough on iron. Thank you. Now that we understand the profound impact of even a single mineral like iron on global health, let's pivot to another microscopic marvel, one that's quietly working behind the scenes in, hundreds of your body's daily operations: magnesium. What makes magnesium so important for our body's functions, and where does it truly shine?
Magnesium is another essential mineral, absolutely required for over 300 different enzymatic reactions in the body. Over 300. It's truly a master switch, affecting so many different systems it's hard to overstate. Beyond being a cofactor for all those enzymes, it plays a really critical role in nerve function, ensuring proper communication throughout the nervous system. That impacts everything from your mood to your reflexes, right? It's crucial for heart health, supporting the rhythm and function of this vital organ, helping to maintain a steady beat and healthy blood pressure. It contributes significantly to bone health, working alongside calcium and vitamin D to build strong, resilient bones. It's not just calcium, and quite importantly for our daily comfort and movement, it is absolutely essential for muscle relaxation. It also helps convert the food we eat into usable cellular energy, ATP, powering all those myriad bodily processes we discussed earlier.
Muscle relaxation. That sounds really interesting. I mean, seriously, imagine if every time you tensed up, you just stayed that way. What's the chemical dance happening there? And are there other surprising areas where magnesium similarly plays a balancing role that might surprise us?
That's a great image, and honestly, it's not far from the truth for someone severely deficient. It can feel like that. So, to understand this, let's think about how muscles work at a cellular level. It's pretty neat. Many muscle cells have specific binding sites for calcium molecules. When calcium binds to these proteins, it triggers a structural change that leads to muscle contraction. That's the go signal. This contraction is, of course, essential for all our movements, flexing, lifting, even the constant pumping of our heart. However, muscle relaxation is equally necessary, right? You need the stop signal, too. Magnesium, because it has a similar chemical structure and charge to calcium, can also bind to these very same proteins. When magnesium binds, it effectively blocks off the sites where calcium would normally attach. It competes with calcium. This blockage prevents the contraction signal, thereby allowing the muscles to relax. So there needs to be this delicate and precise balance between calcium and magnesium for proper muscle contraction and relaxation to work smoothly in tandem. Without enough magnesium, calcium can sort of dominate, and muscles can become overstimulated, leading to occasional cramps, spasms, or that feeling of persistent tension. This is exactly why magnesium is often recommended for muscle cramps or even restless leg syndrome. And beyond just muscle relaxation, magnesium also serves another vital role by modulating sodium and potassium pathways in cell membranes. It helps with the transport of these ions into and out of cells. This ion transport is absolutely critical for the efficient transmission of nerve impulses, like when your brain sends signals telling your muscles to contract or relax. This also extends to its impact on sleep. Magnesium helps regulate neurotransmitters that calm the nervous system, like GABA. And because of that, it can therefore improve sleep quality for many people who struggle with falling or staying asleep. It's also being actively researched for its role in potentially mitigating the frequency and severity of migraines, possibly by normalizing nerve function and blood vessel tone in the brain. So yeah, its balancing act extends far beyond just muscles.
That's truly fascinating, this tiny chemical dance happening inside our muscles and nerves that impacts so much of our daily comfort and health.
Incredible.
So what are our daily requirements for this vital mineral, and where can we primarily find it in our diets?
Well, the daily magnesium requirements vary quite significantly depending on age, gender, and physiological state, like pregnancy or lactation. For instance, the recommended dietary allowance, or RDA, for women aged 19-30 is about 310 milligrams per day. And this amount increases to 350 milligrams during pregnancy to support both the mother's needs and fetal development. For men in the same age group, the RDA is higher, around 400 milligrams per day. It's really important to remember that since our bodies cannot produce magnesium on their own, we must obtain it entirely through our diet. Good sources include things like whole grains, oats, brown rice, quinoa. Legumes like beans and lentils are great. Nuts and seeds are powerhouses, especially pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, almonds, and particularly dark leafy green vegetables like spinach, kale, Swiss chard. The chlorophyll molecule actually contains magnesium at its center. Avocados and even dark chocolate, good quality dark chocolate, are also surprisingly good sources. If dietary intake isn't consistently sufficient, then supplementation can also be an option to consider.
Right. And I know there are different forms of magnesium supplements out there on the market. Do they all work the same way? Or are there specific forms that might be better suited for different needs, like, say, sleep versus muscle cramps?
That's a crucial question. And no, they absolutely do not all work the same way. It can be quite confusing. Each form has unique benefits, different absorption characteristics, and even potential side effects. Magnesium citrate, for example, is known for being highly bioavailable, meaning it's generally well absorbed by the body. It's also commonly used for its mild laxative effect, which can actually be beneficial for people dealing with occasional constipation. Magnesium glycinate, on the other hand, is specifically known for potentially even better absorption because it's bound to the amino acid glycine. And it's particularly known for being very gentle on the stomach, making it a good choice for those who experience gastrointestinal upset with other forms, like citrate or oxide. It's also often favored for its calming effects and for supporting sleep, likely due to the glycine component as well. Then there's magnesium threonate. This one has garnered a lot of attention recently for its unique ability to cross the blood-brain barrier more effectively than other forms. This makes it particularly promising for supporting cognitive health, things like memory and learning, and potentially reducing anxiety. Magnesium malota, which is bound with malic acid, is often chosen by those seeking support from muscle pain and fatigue. Not common in conditions like fibromyalgia, for instance, as malic acid itself is involved in energy production within cells. And some supplements even combine magnesium with other beneficial compounds. You mentioned ashwagandha earlier. Ashwagandha is an herb revered as an adaptogen in Ayurvedic medicine for its stress-reducing properties. Combining it with magnesium can support overall relaxation and stress reduction, offering sort of a dual benefit for both body and mind. So yeah, it's always a good idea to research the specific form of magnesium and consider your individual needs and sensitivities when choosing a supplement. Talk to your doctor.
That's really helpful clarification. Now, this raises an important question. Many of us take multiple supplements, or we're thinking about it. How do magnesium and other nutrients interact when taken together? Is it safe to just pop them all at once? Or are there specific pairings we should be aware of to maximize benefits or maybe even avoid problems?
This is a very important point, absolutely, as the effectiveness of nutrient absorption, what we call bioavailability, can be significantly influenced by how vitamins and minerals interact with each other. Some nutrients work synergistically, meaning they enhance each other's benefits or absorption. They're like partners. While others can actually compete, potentially hindering the absorption of one or both if taken at the same time in large amounts. Bioavailability also depends on various individual factors, right? Like the specific form of the mineral or vitamin you're taking, your overall daily intake, your diet, your age, your individual metabolism, and even the health of your gastrointestinal tract plays a big role. While multivitamins can be a convenient way to get many nutrients simultaneously, it's crucial to be aware that specific combinations of individual supplements should be considered carefully to maximize benefits and avoid unintended negative effects. It's not always as simple as just more is better or throwing everything in together.
Okay, so what are some of the beneficial partnerships involving magnesium? Are there any power duos or trios that we should definitely know about where they work better together?
There are indeed several synergistic relationships where magnesium works incredibly well with other nutrients, creating powerful health benefits that are greater than the sum of their parts. One of the most crucial pairs, maybe the most crucial, is magnesium and vitamin D3. This is huge. Your body absolutely depends on magnesium to absorb and critically utilize vitamin D effectively. Magnesium is required by enzymes located in your liver and kidneys to convert vitamin D into its usable active form. Think of magnesium as the key that unlocks vitamin D's potential in the body. Without sufficient magnesium, vitamin D supplementation can actually elevate calcium levels too high in the bloodstream, hypercalcemia. This excess calcium can then deposit into soft tissues, places it shouldn't be, like your kidneys, arteries, joints, cartilage, where it can be toxic and lead to significant health problems like kidney stones or arterial hardening over time. Together, however, magnesium and vitamin D3 powerfully support normal immune system function, maintain strong bone and teeth health by getting calcium where it belongs, help regulate blood pressure, and keep your muscles healthy. They are truly codependent. You really need both for optimal function. Another really beneficial duo is magnesium and zinc. These two minerals have mutual benefits when taken together. Magnesium helps your body regulate its zinc levels, ensuring they stay within a healthy range, while zinc, in turn, seems to allow magnesium to absorb more effectively. It's a two-way street. This partnership contributes to several vital bodily functions. Together, they support efficient food digestion, promote faster wound healing, boost the immune system's ability to defend against infections, synthesize proteins and DNA for cell growth and repair, and keep your bones strong and healthy. It is important to note, however, that while their partnership is generally beneficial, very high doses of zinc way above the RDA can, surprisingly, negatively impact magnesium absorption over time. So adhering to recommended daily amounts, roughly 9.5 milligrams for men and 7 milligrams for women from all sources, is important to ensure optimal benefits without accidentally causing an imbalance. And finally, magnesium and vitamin B12 form another powerful team. This combination contributes significantly to energy-yielding metabolism, that whole process by which your body converts food into usable energy, ATP. They also promote the normal function of the nervous system and support healthy psychological function, helping to reduce feelings of tiredness and fatigue. Since vitamin B12 is a water-soluble vitamin, remember, It needs to be replenished daily through diet or supplementation because the body doesn't store large amounts for long periods. Taking these two together can ensure you're supporting your energy levels and nervous system health comprehensively, potentially preventing that sluggish brain fog feeling many people experience.
Okay, great partnerships to know. Now, beyond iron and magnesium, the world of vitamins is, like you said, this whole alphabet soup of essential compounds, each one playing its own critical role. Let's maybe delve into some of the other major players and their specific functions and interactions. Why is understanding these nuances so important for people trying to optimize their health?
Right. As we touched on earlier, vitamins are broadly categorized as either fat-soluble, which are vitamins A, D, E, and K, or water-soluble. The water-soluble group includes the 8 B vitamins, B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9, B12, and vitamin C. And this distinction is quite important for how they are handled by the body, how often you need them, and the risks of taking too much. Fat-soluble vitamins are absorbed along with dietary fat and can be stored in the body for longer periods, primarily in your fat tissue and liver. This storage capacity means that while they are crucial, excessive intake of fat-soluble vitamins carries a higher risk of toxicity because they accumulate and are not easily flushed out if you take way too much. Water-soluble vitamins, on the other hand, dissolve readily in water and are generally excreted from the body through urine relatively quickly, usually within hours or a day. This means they are not readily stored to a large extent, and therefore a more consistent daily intake is important to maintain adequate levels as your body is constantly using and flushing them out.
Got it. Let's specifically talk about vitamin B12 for a moment, which seems to have so many different impacts on the body. Many people might dismiss brain fog or persistent fatigue as just getting older or stress. But what if it's your body subtly signaling a critical B12 shortage? You mentioned it affects maybe 1 in 5 people over 60. That seems high. And it can lead to surprising misdiagnoses.
You've hit on a really crucial point there. Vitamin B12, also known as cobalamin, is indeed an absolutely essential nutrient. Vital. It's crucial for fundamental processes like DNA synthesis, the very building blocks of our cells. Also for energy production, powering every cellular function. And it plays a critical role in the proper function of the central nervous system, impacting everything from mood and memory to nerve signaling. Plus, it's essential for making healthy red blood cells. Deficiency in B12 is surprisingly common, yes, affecting up to perhaps 20% of people over 60 in places like the US and UK. And it can also significantly impact children, younger adults, and especially those who are pregnant or nursing due to increased needs. The causes are varied, as we hinted. Limited dietary intake is a big one, especially for vegans, as B12 is unique. It's the only vitamin not reliably available from plant sources. It's primarily found in animal products like meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. Malabsorption syndromes like pernicious anemia, an autoimmune condition, or certain medical conditions affecting the digestive tract like Crohn's disease or after weight loss surgery, or even the long-term use of certain B12 depleting medications like metformin, a very common diabetes drug, or acid-suppressing drugs can also lead to deficiency even if intake is adequate.
So, what are the signs and symptoms of a B12 deficiency then? I imagine they must be quite varied if it impacts so many bodily systems and, like you said, easily confused with other things.
They are indeed quite varied and can sometimes be frustratingly nonspecific, which definitely makes diagnosis challenging and leads to those misdiagnoses you mentioned. Common symptoms include that profound fatigue, often related to megaloblastic anemia where red blood cells become large, abnormal, and immature, severely impairing oxygen delivery. You might also notice a pale or yellowish tinge to your skin, a type of jaundice. Headaches are among the most commonly reported symptoms in both adults and children with B12 deficiency. Some research even links lower B12 levels to an increased likelihood of migraines. Beyond these, depressive symptoms and other mood disorders like anxiety or irritability are frequently associated with low B12. This might be linked to elevated homocysteine levels, which B12 helps regulate. High homocysteine can increase oxidative stress and DNA damage, impacting brain health. Gastrointestinal issues like diarrhea, nausea, constipation, bloating, and gas are also common, as B12 is crucial for maintaining the health of the intestinal lining. But the neurological symptoms can be particularly debilitating and sometimes irreversible if not caught early. These include difficulty concentrating and overall mental impairment, often described as that brain fog, or having memory problems. Paresthesia, that's a burning, tingling, or pins and needle sensation, especially common in the hands and feet, is another hallmark symptom. And this can unfortunately overlap with symptoms of diabetic neuropathy, which can lead to misdiagnosis in people with diabetes who are taking metformin, since metformin itself can lower B12. Other neurological signs can include muscle cramps and weakness, impaired coordination or ataxia, which makes walking and balancing difficult, and even vision disturbances due to optic nerve damage. It truly impacts a wide range of bodily systems, from your blood to your gut to your brain and nerves.
That sounds incredibly debilitating, especially the neurological aspects. Can these symptoms generally be reversed with treatment? And what's the fastest or most effective way to address a B12 deficiency once it's actually identified?
Fortunately, yes. For most symptoms, improvement is definitely possible, especially if the deficiency is caught and treated early. Mental impairment, profound fatigue, mood issues, and many other symptoms related to low B12 levels can often improve significantly, sometimes quite rapidly, with appropriate B12 treatment. This is typically achieved through oral supplements. Often high-dose oral supplements are effective even for malabsorption issues, surprisingly. Or in more severe cases, or those with confirmed significant malabsorption, like pernicious anemia, treatment usually involves injections, bypassing the digestive system altogether. The fastest way to fix a B12 deficiency usually involves these methods injections, perhaps being the quickest initially, aiming to rapidly replenish the body's stores and reverse the adverse effects on red blood cell production, nerve function, and cognitive health. The goal is to restore normal B12 levels so the body can resume its vital functions properly, hopefully restoring energy, clarity, and overall well-being. It's truly remarkable how quickly some symptoms, especially fatigue and mood, can begin to resolve once B12 levels are corrected. But nerve damage can take longer, or sometimes be permanent if treatment is delayed too long.
Okay, that's good to know there's hope for reversal. What about other beneficial vitamin pairings we should know about? Beyond what we've already covered, are there any other dynamic duos or maybe trios that truly amplify each other's effects in important ways?
Absolutely. Beyond the magnesium pairings we discussed, several other vitamin partnerships are highly beneficial, really showcasing the incredible synergy within our bodies. The first one that comes to mind, and it's gained a lot of attention recently, is vitamin D3 and K2. We mentioned D3 with magnesium, but K2 is its other key partner. These two fat-soluble vitamins work synergistically to ensure calcium is not only absorbed easily from your gut, that's D3's job, but also effectively integrated into your bone mass, rather than depositing dangerously in places like arteries or kidneys. Vitamin K2, specifically its MK7 form, which stays active longer, plays a critical role by activating osteocalcin. Osteocalcin is a protein that helps grab calcium from the blood and deposit it directly into your bones. K2 also helps activate another protein, MGP, that actively prevents calcium from building up in your arteries and soft tissues. Without both D3 and K2 working together, calcium might not go where it's needed, bones, and might end up where it's harmful, arteries. So together, they're absolutely essential for both healthy, strong bones and a healthy cardiovascular system. Next, let's consider vitamin C and vitamin B6. Taking these vitamins together can significantly help support your immune system. They enhance the body's adaptive immune response. That's the specific response against things like cold and flu viruses. Vitamin C, as most people know, is a powerful antioxidant, helping to protect cells from damage and keep them healthy. Vitamin B6, on the other hand, is crucial for numerous enzyme reactions, including many involved in the production and function of immune cells like lymphocytes. This partnership helps ensure a more robust defense system for your body, helping you stay resilient against everyday infectious threats. And just to circle back, as we emphasized earlier with iron deficiency anemia, iron and vitamin C are an invaluable pair. Cannot stress this enough. Vitamin C dramatically enhances the absorption of non-heme iron, the type found in plant-based sources, and also in iron supplements. Remember, non-heme iron is much less efficiently absorbed on its own compared to heme iron from animal sources. This partnership is crucial for proper red blood cell production and oxygen transportation throughout the body. So for instance, that simple yet powerful tip: drink orange juice, eat a bell pepper, have some strawberries with your iron supplements or iron-rich plant-based meals like lentils or spinach. This simple addition of vitamin C can significantly aid absorption, maximizing the benefits of the iron you consume and helping to prevent or treat iron deficiency more effectively.
That's incredibly practical advice. Love those simple tips. Now, on the flip side, are there any vitamins or mineral combinations that we should be cautious about, either because they might counteract each other, or maybe because high doses could become problematic when taken together? This is definitely where many people get confused and maybe overdo it.
This is a very important point, and yes, absolutely. While we need a wide variety of nutrients, some interactions and dosages definitely require careful attention. It's often less about completely avoiding combinations altogether and more about proper timing, appropriate dosage, and understanding individual needs and risks. First, regarding vitamin C and vitamin B12. Some research indicates that taking very high doses of vitamin C at the exact same time as vitamin B12 might potentially reduce B12's efficiency by impacting its absorption or stability in the gut. While it's generally considered safe to take both supplements, it's probably prudent, especially if you're treating a B12 deficiency, to space them out by at least 2 hours. So maybe take your B12 in the morning and your vitamin C midday or with lunch, just to be safe and maximize B12 absorption. Next, be cautious with vitamin A supplements and foods rich in vitamin A. Remember, vitamin A is fat-soluble. That means your body stores excess amounts, primarily in the liver and fat tissues, rather than excreting them quickly like water-soluble vitamins. This storage capability means that taking high-dose vitamin A supplements while also frequently consuming foods naturally very high in preformed vitamin A, like liver or liver pate, can lead to excess accumulation over time. This excess, called hypervitaminosis A, can cause negative side effects like nausea, dizziness, blurred vision, and in the long term, potentially weak bones and a higher risk of fractures, particularly as you age. High doses of vitamin A are also known to be dangerous for unborn babies, causing birth defects, making it especially important for pregnant individuals to monitor their total intake from all sources very carefully. It's a vitamin where too much can definitely be harmful. Another crucial combination to be aware of is folic acid, vitamin B9, and vitamin B12. This one is really important. While both are essential B vitamins, critical for healthy red blood cells and numerous other bodily functions, taking too much folic acid, usually from fortified foods or high-dose supplements, can unfortunately mask the primary symptom of a vitamin B12 deficiency, the megaloblastic anemia. This is problematic because it can significantly delay the proper diagnosis and treatment of the underlying B12 deficiency. And as we discussed, if B12 deficiency is left unaddressed, it can lead to serious and sometimes irreversible neurological damage. Imagine having a critical B12 deficiency that's slowly damaging your nerves. But the high folic acid intake is preventing the telltale anemia from showing up in your routine blood tests, thus delaying the correct diagnosis. It's paramount to consult your healthcare provider to ensure you're getting the right balance for your individual needs and to properly investigate and address any suspected B12 deficiency before it potentially escalates. Don't just assume fatigue is normal. And finally, let's consider vitamin E and vitamin K. Studies show that taking high doses of vitamin E, particularly in supplement form, well above the RDA, may increase the risk of bleeding by inhibiting platelet aggregation and how blood clots form. Conversely, vitamin K is absolutely vital for blood clotting. It's crucial for the synthesis of several key clotting factors in the liver. Therefore, taking high doses of vitamin E at the same time could potentially hinder vitamin K's effects, interfering with normal clotting. This is especially relevant for individuals who are already on anticoagulant medications like warfarin, Coumadin, or who are supplementing vitamin K for specific clotting reasons. Always adhere to nutrient reference value guidelines, and again, consult with a healthcare professional before combining supplements, especially high-dose ones, and particularly if you have pre-existing health conditions or are taking any medications. The key message here is always informed decisions and professional guidance. Don't self-prescribe high doses.
This has been such a comprehensive deep dive into the specific roles and, wow, the intricate interactions of these vital nutrients. It's way more complex than just taking a multivitamin sometimes. What does the future hold for how we manage, research, and truly understand the optimal intake of vitamins and minerals? Are we moving beyond just preventing scurvy and rickets?
Oh, absolutely. We connect this to the bigger picture. The understanding of nutrient needs is constantly evolving. It's really dynamic. We're moving far beyond simply preventing those acute classic deficiency diseases like scurvy or rickets, which thankfully are relatively rare in much of the developed world today, though still exist. Pioneering research by biochemists like Dr. Bruce Ames at UC Berkeley suggests that even at nutrient levels above what prevents these obvious acute deficiency diseases, there might still be what he terms chronic metabolic damage occurring silently in the background. His fascinating triage theory posits a really profound concept. When certain nutrients are scarce, or their availability is just suboptimal, not grossly deficient, but just not optimal, the body, being a master of survival, prioritizes functions essential for immediate short-term survival. Things like immediate energy production or maintaining basic organ function get first dibs. However, it does this potentially at the expense of functions crucial for long-term health and longevity. Things like meticulous DNA repair, robust cellular maintenance, strong immune surveillance. This long-term neglect, the sort of silent biological compromise made under nutrient stress, can lead to an accumulation of damage that contributes to degenerative diseases down the line and effectively accelerates the aging process at a cellular level.
So this isn't just about avoiding obvious immediate deficiencies then, but about truly optimizing our nutrient intake for a longer, healthier life. Almost like fine-tuning a high-performance engine for longevity, not just getting it to start.
Precisely. Exactly that analogy. This raises a really important question for researchers and for all of us. What is the true optimal intake of various nutrients for minimizing DNA and mitochondrial damage, for maximizing cellular repair, and perhaps even for delaying aging itself? It's a profound shift in perspective, moving from merely surviving day-to-day to truly thriving long-term. For instance, as you alluded to, recent studies have shown some fascinating links between multivitamin use and telomere length. Telomeres, remember, are those protective caps at the ends of our chromosomes, often likened to the plastic tips on shoelaces that prevent fraying. They naturally shorten with each cell division, and their length is considered a marker of biological aging. Shorter telomeres are associated with an increased risk of age-related diseases and shorter lifespan. One compelling study, although observational, found that daily multivitamin users had telomeres that were, on average, about 5% longer than those of non-users. The researchers calculated this difference corresponded to about 9.8 years of age-related telomere loss. Now, this is just one study, and the relationship is complex. It doesn't prove cause and effect, but it highlights the ongoing scientific effort to understand how nutrients contribute not just to immediate health, but also to long-term cellular health and longevity, really pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible with basic nutrition. Looking ahead, the future of nutrient management is increasingly personalized. It has to be. We're moving slowly but surely towards an era where genetic testing, analysis of your microbiome, wearable tech monitoring your activity and stress, and advanced diagnostics could potentially help us understand individual nutrient needs with unprecedented precision, way beyond the generic RDAs. Imagine a future where your dietary recommendations aren't just based on general population guidelines, but are tailored specifically to your unique genetic makeup, your gut bacteria, your current activity levels, your environment, and even your stress responses. Researchers are actively exploring how specific nutrient interventions, maybe higher doses of certain B vitamins or antioxidants, could combat age-related cognitive decline, improve resilience to environmental stressors like pollution, and even modulate gene expression through epigenetics to support healthier aging pathways. This isn't just about popping more pills, it's about a holistic understanding of how nutrition acts as a powerful lever for health and longevity, potentially extending not just lifespan, but more importantly, health span, the period of life spent in good health, free from chronic disease.
That's truly thought-provoking, especially considering how much of health is often seen as, predetermined by genetics or just bad luck. So what does this mean for us, the listeners, right now as we think about our own health and nutrient intake in this evolving landscape? What's the practical takeaway?
Yeah, the bottom line is that vitamins and essential minerals are not static components just sitting there. They are constantly being utilized by the body in this incredibly astonishing, intricate dance every single second. They are continuously working to produce energy, synthesize and maintain vital tissues like blood, skin, muscle, and bone, make DNA and proteins for cell growth and reproduction, and support all our physical and cognitive capabilities, from thinking clearly to fighting off infections. Without adequate amounts, energy levels, productivity, immune function, and mental clarity can indeed decline, sometimes so subtly at first that we don't even notice its deficiency until it becomes quite significant. While a healthy eating pattern, one that includes all food groups and a wide variety of whole, unprocessed foods, lots of colors, is undeniably the best foundation for obtaining these nutrients, the reality is, for many people, due to diet choices, soil depletion, absorption issues, or increased needs, the rational and informed use of nutritional supplements can certainly help fill potential dietary gaps and potentially optimize overall bodily function, helping us move from simply avoiding gross deficiency to truly supporting optimal health and maybe even that longer health span we talked about.
Okay. And what's the most practical, actionable takeaway for our listeners when considering this complex world of supplements and nutrient interactions, especially as they look towards optimizing their own health and maybe navigating the supplement aisle?
The single most important takeaway: always consult a knowledgeable healthcare professional like your doctor, a registered dietitian, maybe a naturopathic doctor or pharmacist before starting or significantly changing any supplement routine. Seriously. This is crucial to ensure whatever you're considering aligns with your individual needs, your existing health conditions, and any medications you might be taking, as interactions are common. They can help you interpret your symptoms, decide if testing is warranted, choose appropriate forms and doses, and guide you away from potentially harmful interactions or excessive amounts. Pay close attention to product labels for recommended dosages, ingredients, potential allergens, and be aware of any known interactions listed. Quality matters too. Look for third-party testing seals if possible. And remember, sometimes innovative delivery methods like those oral spray supplements for certain vitamins like B12 or D can offer real advantages for some people. They can improve absorption by bypassing potential gastrointestinal issues like low stomach acid or poor absorption in the gut, and provide a more effective, sometimes more convenient way to ensure optimal nutrient intake, especially if you have digestive sensitivities or known absorption challenges. Ultimately, it's about making smart, informed choices tailored to your unique body and health goals, ideally with professional guidance.
Fantastic advice. And that concludes our deep dive into the essential and clearly complex world of vitamins and minerals. We've journeyed from understanding their fundamental roles in every single cell, through the global challenge of iron deficiency anemia, to the intricate partnerships of magnesium, and the specific needs and potential pitfalls for each letter in the vitamin alphabet. We even touched on the cutting edge of research, suggesting how optimizing nutrient intake might just be a key to not only a healthier life, but potentially a longer and more vibrant one, too. As you go about your day-to-day, maybe take a moment to consider that invisible symphony of these tiny compounds playing out in your body every single second. It's pretty amazing. What small shift in your daily intake or awareness, maybe adding some nuts and seeds, ensuring you take vitamin C with your iron, or just talking to your doctor about your fatigue could create a significant difference in your well-being down the road. We also want to give one more shout out to our sponsor, Stonefly. Check out their incredible 100 TB immutable and air-gapped SSO nests, available for just $8,995. It's a really powerful, cost-effective solution for robust data storage and security, ensuring your critical digital assets are as well protected and resilient as your body's vital functions need to be. Find out more at stonefly.com. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We look forward to exploring more fascinating topics with you next time.